Yeah, don't forget, if you're coming at the body of the Kirk, just wipe your feet, smash the likes, and we shall have some cheeky fun tonight. Right, everybody's in. They're getting into. Aye, aye, shepherd's pie. Get the defendant. Aye, aye, oi, oi. You what? You what? You what? You what? You what? Just to let you know, I mean business tonight. 2 hibiscus. I don't know whether you can see the super strong hibiscus. I'm going to need it, I think. Right, okay, right. Loads of people commenting. Right, where are we? I have no idea. Evening, Adrian, whoever said that. I'm kind of all over the place because I have a confession. Yeah, proper confession. I decided in my infinite wisdom, see, my new thing is, rather than cook myself, have I told you that Toby Carvery do takeaways? Now, not that I'm a simple guy, but I just ordered myself a roast dinner from Toby Carvery, and it was enough to feed the 5,000. Even Jesus Christ, I could feed the whole of Israel with this. Although Jesus' time, it didn't exist. And I ate it with gusto, really enjoyed it. And then I thought, oh, I've got a food baby. And it's taking me 3 hours to recover from the meal. I think it's got something to do with my blood sugars. But so I'm a little bit all over the place, which is why I need the double hibiscus, which is why I might seem a bit spaced out. But I will do my best. I will do my best. I know that the comments are coming through kind of en masse. Yeah, Manda's guy. I've got a food coma. I've got a food baby. At some point, I'm going to have to go and drop the kids off. Food baby, kids. Oh, well. But we have lots and lots and lots to talk about. And in a bizarre way, some of the stuff that I didn't have time to to talk about last night, other news has come in today. So let me just check. Let's just make this note whilst I'm talking to you. Right, we'll talk about that. And what else? Well, we'll get the parish notes out of the way. Welcome everybody at the body of the Kirk. People are arriving. Make sure you've got your piles, cushion, because the pews are a little hard on the derriere, so to speak. It's we call them the Starmers because they're hard on the derriere. And I just thought of that one up, bizarrely. And the pulpit of truth is tonight. The pulpit of truth. We're not mucking about tonight. It's all truth. Nothing but the truth, Your Honour. Paul Mabley's first in the body of the Kirk. It takes time. I thought it takes 2. Did it takes 2? Lynn. Oi. James Brown backing singer. Lynn Collins. Napoleon blown apart. Rev, I have to play catch up today. Work calls. I should have stayed retired. I know Napoleon blown apart. I know that feeling. Neil Cunningham made me laugh. Proper made me laugh. Evening all. Hope all is well with you, Rev. Nice ruling about the Bell Hotel. Who knew our Prime Minister would have a hotel named after him? Well, if you go to the side of the hotel, that's one end of the hotel. You could say that is the Bell End. Stuart says there's a gag coming from Neil in just a second that proper made me laugh out loud. Or as David Cameron thinks, lots of love. Was it David Cameron or Tony Blair that thought LOL was lots of love? Stuart says, Rev, Sister Mary wants to know who's not eating their Battenberg. She's saying half the pew smell fragrant and the other half not so. I told her to give the smelly ones a good polish. Elbow grease, Spanish archer. Neil Cunningham says, Neil says, anyone noticed how much weight Starmer has put on recently? Maybe they should rename the PM's weekend residence Chubby Checkers. Honestly, Neil, that proper made me laugh out loud when I heard it for the first time, and the second time, and the third time. Well done. Very well done. Les Griffith says, I wonder if anyone could tell me, is it possible for a podcaster to fill their comment section with fictitious comments from multiple made-up followers? Yeah, of course it is. Of course it is. They're just bots. And a former colleague of that particular podcaster and I is a lecturer at Oxford University in Python. It wouldn't take much of a stretch for him to be able to but the bots in the comments, and some of the comments on my videos, I know that are bots because I can tell their styling and how they do it and what they do. I'm not going to give the game away, but it's just I can tell a bloody mile away. And some of the bots that come into my comment section, but more often than not, the parishioners of this particular parish are regulars. So we kind of, and some people pop in every now and again and just say hello, and I know who they are because I've got a pretty good memory. So, Les, yes, bots everywhere. I see bots everywhere. Matthew Whedon, who whacked Starmer on the lips last night? I swear that man was on the sherbet at the press conference last night. Do you think? Yeah, I say. Pims o'clock, anyone? I've been watching. Stuart says, it's always particular videos you do have bots. I know, Stuart. It is funny. So I've seen the pictures of Starmer with his herpes, the cold sore. Is it herpes simplex? The cold sore on his top lip. And then if you look at other pictures of him, it's on his bottom lip. So I've seen the video of him on his plane going to Washington. So I'm not sure that he actually has a cold sore. I think it's I don't think it's AI generated. I think it's people just at it. I have laughed all day. Where's Wally? Because you've got all the European leaders sitting there in front of. Hang on, does this work? Hang on, is that better? Or is that too bright? Is that? I will do that. You can see me creases. It's a bit bright though. Hang on, let me let's see if I can dim that. That's a bit better. So I've been laughing my cap off at Where's Wally, because Trump evidently and his administration don't like two-tier. Abject lie. They don't like lies in America or in the Trump administration or anybody that's on the sniff. Zelensky. Yeah, Sniffy, come here. Have you got a bag on you? Yes, it's one of those bags for life from Tesco's. Lovely. Put these in there then. Oh, what's those? Boxing gloves. Why would I need boxing gloves? It stops you during the night. So where's Wally? And I put some pictures up on my X profile at Adrian Allen on X or Twitter if you want. I posted a couple of those today. Oh, how I laughed. Because he's just like he's been sent to Coventry. How can you send? I mean, he wants to be a head of state. More head than state, really. But he wants to be head of state. And on my private plane going to Washington, yes, of course. See, it would have been much better if he'd gone on like a B-52. I know we love Rock Lobster, but B-52. Or went on a military flight across to... I mean, that would just be so manly. Proper manly. I'm going with the lads and I'm sitting in the back of a very uncomfortable military flight to Washington, because I don't need any of these private flights that everybody else in the Labour Party does. The front benches, no. I'm on a manly flight, but he didn't. So they didn't take any pictures of him. Everybody else, and bless him, in the kind of from the highest to the lowest. Have you seen that one? From the tallest to the lowest, and he's next to Ursula von der Leyen, bitch, because she's only 3 foot. I mean, we're all the same length lying down, and she's had 7 kids. Cool, blimey. You'll have to pack her up. No, Adrian, stop that. No, stop that. I nearly went too far. She's diddly. She's one of these little gonks things. Do you know what a gonk is? It's one of those things that look rather pretty, but have absolutely no use whatsoever. They're just gonks. And I had a little gonk when I was a child. Stopped me playing with my other gonk, right-handed, and And, well, anyway, he's standing next to her. Look, there's just 20 ghosts gone through my head in an instant, and I can't tell you a single one of them because they're absolute filth. And, well, anyway, I don't want to be sued. So, so he's standing next to her, and she's 3'6", he's 3'7", and no, Adrian, stop that one. So I'm having to self-edit a lot tonight, and I've no idea why. Well, because they're filth, to be fair, and very cheeky. So he that was the only photograph that he was in. He wasn't pictured in anything to do with Trump. He wasn't. And everybody's just saying, what's that bloody thing on his lip, his upper lip? And then I've looked and gone, oh, it's not on his upper lip, it's down here somewhere. Herpes simplex, where'd you get that from? It's not a question, I don't want you to answer it. You're wrong and we know where it come from. Welcome, Matthew. Welcome, Les. Welcome, Martine. Did anyone notice if Zelensky had a cold sore too? I bet he did. Just making sure that I don't say anything untoward. Fatal Racing Driver. Hello, Fatal Racing Driver. I may, if you don't mind, I might read part of your... I didn't realise you were in Headingley Hall. Fatal Racing Driver. Thank you for the pics. Loved them, loved them, loved them. But there was part of your email I wanted to mention. So if you don't mind, I'll do that a little bit later. Andy B. Evening all, an hour to get dinner, have a bath. Hope the Revs IT holds up tonight. Me too, fingers crossed. But I'm watching no comments come in and then woof, half a dozen at a time. So I've got a feeling that YouTube are still struggling with their IT. Tom Harney's evening all, as a wrong philosopher once said. Once a Battenberger, always a Battenberger. I wonder if Sir Keir Starmer takes it up the Battenberger. I mean, it may be a cry of victory. Up the Battenberger! Really? Andrew James, ghetto defendant, has got the hymns up on the projector and he's wearing his best Tuesday short trousers. Oh, I say, the shine, please, my eyes. Darren Donnelly, evening all, evening Darren, evening Andrew James, Mr. Lord Wookfit. It is possible but expensive in man hours and potential money about, well, bots. Can I ask a question? Those who know will know, but do you know, if you put bots onto social media, is it called botting by any chance? I know certain podcasters who would be a fan of botting. If you know, you know. Oh, the Lord Wookfit's on it tonight. Matthew, it might not be the result of a slap in the puss. That's a Scottish word for gob. It could be a cold sore. Herpes simplex too. Thank you, Lord Wookfit, for... or should I say Laird Wookfit? Seeing as you're, you know, up there. I see you. Terry, yeah, you can pay people to comment on your channel. There are sites just for that purpose. Oh, I mean, my subscriptions are going down, so you can monitor them. They go up, they go down, they go up, they go down, and then I put some videos up and go, woof! I mean, unlike some people who get tens of thousands of subscriptions on a weekend, I mean, how do they do that? How do they do that? I know one YouTuber who just exponentially went through the roof, like hundreds of thousands of subs after being next to out for years and not doing anything different. We know what that is. Thank you, I see you. Laird Wookfit. Neil Cunningham, great gag. I see you. Thank you. Angelic Inspirations. I don't think it is people you pay to up like posts. I think you can pay for bots though. Yeah, I'm sure that person's definitely having a bit of botting. The Bovril, evening all. I trust the Rev manages to plug himself in this time, or will we have to send Sister Mary round to his house and get her to turn the Rev on? Oh, I say, Sister Mary, watch what you're doing. I'm chaste. That's C-H-A-S-T-E. Oh, blimey, there's a whole load of comments come through. So either they're monitoring our lives because I'm evidently saying stuff I shouldn't be saying. Well, I am, but I don't fucking care. Or there is technical issues going on this evening. Let me just check all of this. Burlington Bertley's in the body of the Kirk this evening, as is Vix Tex. Nicky Watson, evening all. Evening, Vicky, Nikki, Kerry Hawkins. Sorry, Vix. That's why I got it mixed up. Vix text. Nikki Watson. I see you. Kerry Hawkins. Evening, yeah, wrongs. And Terry Wookford says YouTube has a turnover of subs. If people don't comment or interact, they eventually get dropped from a sub list, which a certain commentator's sub drops lots over the next few months. Oh, I say. William Collins, welcome, William. Welcome to the body of the Kirk. I hope you've got your Battenberg. There's spare piles rings just over there because, as I say, the pews are a little hard on the derriere. That's why they're called the Starmers. From the pulpit of truth this evening, we're going for it. Was Les, you can say that, but I can't possibly comment. Modeler Man, hey Adrian, what's on your agenda tonight? Anything proper newsworthy? Oh, absolutely, Modeler Man, and thank you for kind of commenting on one of my videos and letting me know that, because I did have my doubts about Modeler Man, thinking he was subversive. Not that he'd be a sub-Modeler Man, but I just thank you for that clarification. So I know your real name, and I welcome to the body of the Kirk. Nuts and bolts, up your viewership with some cute cats doing cute things. What? It's bad enough me sitting there stroking me growler. You want me to have pussy antics on me channel? I mean, do you want me arrested? Is that an arrestable offence? Although I will admit that animals love me, and like growlers, it doesn't matter which house. So as a Reiki master, there's a trick that you can do. So what I do is I invoke the Reiki energy before I go into any house where I know there's a dog or a cat. The dogs kind of go, oh, what's all this about then? Because they can sense the energy. The cats go, oh, hello, who are you? I might come and see you later. What is going on here? And they kind of slink about so the dogs are a bit mad and the cats are a bit slinky. And the cats will come and just lie next to me, and they experience the energy as heat through my hands, through the Reiki stuff. And dogs and cats react differently. But I love it. The cats will and literally, if I get up to leave them, they get really antsy and annoyed. It's like, no, you're not going anywhere. Sit back down, put those warm things on my tummy, because it felt, oh, lovely. And the dogs are like, can I come with you? Can I come with you? So, Modeler Man, you're welcome. Paulie Galtieri, Dark Forces at Play. There's no such thing, man, Paulie Galtieri. No such thing. He's talking shite. Yeah, done that one. Neil Cunningham says, my cat played with a spider this morning until he got bored and ate it. I feel like that about my food, to be fair, Neil. So, welcome to the body of the Kirk. We're a little late after the parish notes, after me waffling on. I'm just going to test the hibiscus to make sure it's of a sufficient quality, if you don't mind. Hang on, I better take these off, otherwise they'll all get steamed up and you'll be accusing me of nefarious things. Oi, 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 double hibiscus. Yeah, absolute beauty. Oi, 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 what's going on there? Honestly, there's definitely something going on with the comments tonight, definitely. Oh, that is just, well, hibiscus porn. Cats are the dog's bollocks. Malia, loving your mixed metaphors there. Louise Hampson, love my dog, love my cat, love my dog, love my cats. Me too. Tom Harney says, my big black puss is just back from stalking Charles the Week. Really? Bayek, there's some shite flying about, says Des. I know, I'm going to talk about some of it tonight. Les, look, I don't want to talk about certain subjects for particular reasons, which I'm not going to bring to the body of the Kirk for the moment. But I will say this, grifters going to grift. And they're going to use the same techniques, because some people don't have an original idea in their head. But they are going to go, well, I'm going to sue. Right, okay, you didn't for the BBC and you didn't for Nottinghamshire Police. So I would suggest that you don't start grifting again, because we've seen through that. A bit like the jibber jabber from 5 years ago. We saw through that and we're not being done by it again. So, fool me once. That's on you. Fool me twice. That's on me. Hello, Rev, says Darren Donnelly. Darren, I've already said hello. Yeah, wrong, but welcome to the body of the Kirk. I thought Hibiscus was a shampoo. Paul, try it. Just don't start shouting. Honestly, don't start shouting at me when your hair falls out. I've read a story in, I think it was the Mail today, about some wife who got so pissed off with her husband. She put hair removal in his food. Or was it his shampoo? I think she put hair removal in his shampoo bottle. So he's shampooing his hair, thinking, bugger me, I'm losing my hair. What's going on? It was hair removal that she put in the shampoo. I mean, female of the species are more deadly than the male. I've told you that before. Wookfit says, Laird Wookfit says, when the old ladies die and they have cats, they hate going in to lift the body. If it's a few days... If it's a few days old, dogs will lie beside and guard the body. Cats will start with the lips, eating it. I know. Yes. And the other way that emergency workers, whether it's the fire brigade, the police, or ambulance for that matter, they know if there's somebody inside that's dead. The flies. There's a shit ton of flies flying about. They know that it's decomposing, and I wonder how. I mean, do flies kind of go, oh, I'll have a bit of that arm, and I'll just ship me babies there, but is it from intestinal flies, or is it flies eating the body? And you know how, well, actually, you're probably having dinner this evening, so I'll leave that subject alone. Laird Wookfit, you're going to get us into trouble, man. Jackie Glasgow, yeah, he is, yes, Jackie. Les, I agree completely. Des Ashton, how's about a squeaky DB Royal Report? DB? David Beckham! Him! Oh, we haven't done Beckham Watch over the last couple of days. Hang on, is that today's or yesterday's? Is today Tuesday? Yeah, today. There was something in where is it? I'll just bear with me, caller. Bear with me. I will be with you in a second because it's all about Sniffy Suit, and I mean I am eternally grateful to that anonymous emailer who literally predicted the words out of Trump's gob yesterday. What's her name again? Karen Brady. She says, "My new figure's down to hard work, not fat jabs." Oh, here, Karen, man. It's not Oscar. She's so thin. If she turns sideways, somebody would go, "Where's she gone?" She was a proper fat lass. I'm not being fattest. Well, to be fair, I think she's the fattest. Stop it. You just look. I'm on it tonight. I'm on it. No, oh dear me. No, I can't find it. No, I've seen it somewhere. It's the same story, same old Brooklyn, my son's gone off to a billionaire. He's got more money than me. His yacht's bigger than mine. Well, David, that's an age thing, and maybe you didn't have as much testosterone flow through your veins when you were, in the oven. I'm going to say, no, let's go down a bit. Modeler Man says, I knew it was going to do that. Roy Michael Taylor, good evening, Rev, from beautiful Derbyshire. God bless everyone. Roy Michael Taylor, have I seen your name before? If I haven't, there's your cherry pop. You can comment away freely. Welcome to the body of the Kirk, Roy Michael Taylor. Modeler Man, Adrian. A friend of mine runs a shop where she sells hibiscus, amongst other things. You can get hibiscus tea all over the place. But there's a particular hibiscus tea that Costco only sell for like 2 weeks in January. And 18 months ago, I bought at least 10 years worth. It'll be off now, but I don't care. It's in my cup. It can kill me if it wants. But it's these. I've tried different hibiscus teas around the world, and this one is, for my taste buds, is amber nectar, if I may be so bold. But I'm still, Modeler Man, I'm still very interested in anybody that sells hibiscus. Les Griffith says, perhaps Beckham Jr. knows more about the Diddy parties than we do. Young Les, you can say that, but I can't possibly comment. I think you'll find you're right. Oi, 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 oi. Oh, that was very strong. So, hang on a second. I see you. Des, me bum's like haggis and tatties and neeps. I see you. Amalia Grassi says, I'm a bit chilly tonight. What the fuck? Amalia, you're not putting the heating on, surely. Not in August. Are you? I mean, I will, yeah, I'll agree. I will agree. It's a bit, it is. But let's stop talking about the weather like usual Brits. And then no, stop it, Adrian. Oi, oi, oi. I made a curry yesterday, and today my aerosol is like a blood orange. I bet it is less. That's why we have spare piles rings, because the pews are particularly hard on the derriere. What actually does it taste like? Like hibiscus. Lioness sleeps no more. Oh, good to see you in the body of the Kirk, Lioness. It's been a while. It tastes kind of a bit tangy and a bit... it's kind of, it has a sweet note at the top. Ah, that's why. Okay, got it. Got it. Right, this is going to, it'll come back. Right, basically what happened there was somebody called me during my live. Now, most of the people close to me know never to call during a live. And then they left a message on my answer phone. So that's why it paused and buffered. I mean, for fuck's sake. No, they won't call back. Anyway. Oh, excuse me. There you go. That's Amalia talking about the cold and starting me sneezing. Anyway, shall we get on about the sermon this evening? So we've finished the parish notes. Welcome. Everyone that's coming into the body of the Kirk and coming back into the body of the Kirk. Toot sweet. We're going to talk about the cross of St. George. Going to talk about Charlie 19. The data has come out. And it's not surprising. Well, it's not surprising for me and you. It is for those that are trying to push the jibber jabbers. Lucy Letby, interesting update. We're going to pass that because none of the papers are reporting it. Why is that then, Adrian? I've no bloody idea, but I'm telling you, it's a bit of a shocker. We're going to go talk about the Israel truth in Vegas. Well, what can I say? And we've got another update. For, I keep telling you about the 6 central banks. I keep telling you about the Rothschilds owning all the central banks, and I think the head Rothschild's worth about 500 trillion because he owns all the banks. There you go. To what end? Oi. Thank God for that. Thought I'd said something. No, Linus. As I was saying. Hibiscus tastes, because it's a berry, it tastes sort of slightly sweet, but it has just a tang and an edge to it. And it does taste quite strong. So some people will like, if you have a cup of Builders and they put tons of milk in, so you hardly taste the tea. It's more like a cup of milk. But I like strong tastes. So hibiscus with a little Jaeger bomb in there is just, for breakfast, there's nothing better than hibiscus with a Jaeger bomb. Thank you, Stuart. View Bovril says, is St. George annoyed again? No. Somebody's come up with a bit of a ruse today, which I think is genius. I'm not going to claim any credit for it whatsoever. Les Griffith says, I see a lot of YouTubers celebrating a Gimme Grant hotel being closed, but they don't seem to realise they will be housed elsewhere. Of course they will. But small wins, Les. Small wins, I suppose. But we can... Lioness sleeps no more. It depends. Again, it depends on the hibiscus bag of tea. You can either get loose hibiscus, which is slightly stronger. Bags of hibiscus, there are some really good ones, but I tend to have to like a more fuller flavour. So tonight, because I had a bit of a moment with too much food earlier, it was I just needed 2 bags of hibiscus. If you are a member of Costco, they do. That's the hibiscus that I like. They have their own hibiscus tea, bags of hibiscus, and it's just magnificent, just fantastic. And if you don't manage to get any in January, I'll send you some. Amalia Grassi, you've been a member of this body of the Kirk for nearly 3 years and you don't know what a Jaeger bomb is. In the body of the Kirk, the choir boys get it together because young Stuart likes to bring a bottle of Jaeger Meister for this ranting rev, and leaves it with the choir boys. The choir boys don't touch it because they know how to break their nose, obviously, for being thieves. In the Middle East, they lose their right hand. So much for their sex life when they grow up. But they know just to put a bag of hibiscus in hot water and then just a nip, a wee dram of Jägermeister in the hibiscus. Oh, it makes the lives go with a swang. It's fantastic, even though I'm not supposed to drink. Oh, sorry. Was Amali wondering what it was? Laird Wuckfit says Jägermeister is a type of liqueur called Krauterlikör, herbal liqueur, very popular in Germanic countries and Austria, where I've been skiing many, many times. And literally, I wake up and they come in these little bottles. It's like, tap 1, 2, top off, woof, breakfast done, let's go skiing. And all my compatriots are exactly the same. Tap 1, 2, top off, woof, breakfast done, let's go skiing. Dark and thick like some cough syrups with a bit of a kick. Blimey, you can say that again, Laird Wuckfit. I mean, Jesus, I've lost the ability to speak after quite a few of those. But that's not why we're here, Stuart. They also make the rev very lively. Thank you. Oh, Amalia, it's fantastic. You can drink it neat. You can drink it with little additives to water it down, or you can drink it in hibiscus tea, which makes the whole world go with a schwang. So this idea that's come out via some people on X, and they've taken photographs. This is what I love about being English, because we're a little eccentric, we're a bit mad, and nobody really around the world understands us, as I tried to explain last night. In what puts the great in Great Britain. But as Britons, nobody gets our sense of humour, really. It's a bit mad at times, it's a bit ironic. I'm trying to think of who sang ironic. I can see her, but I can't think of the bloody name. I was trying to think of her lyrics, but it didn't work. We'll leave that gag alone. But so nobody understands us. And yet when the lockdown started 5 years ago, March 2020, we were all making light of it. We were taking the mickey because we were told, 4 to 6 weeks, just to flatten the curve, save the NHS, it's not a biggie. 2 years later, but in the beginning, we used our sense of humour. We were taking the mickey. Memes were flying left, right and centre. They soon stopped when people realised it was actually quite serious. But initially, we have a sense of humour, unless it's something that really is too soon. Terrorist attacks, children dying. That level, there's never any humour around that. Never. There's certain things that we don't. Nicky Watson's on vodka and lemonade in agony with me leg. Oh, Nicky Watson, any excuse, but a good one all the same. I would just say, look, I'm laid up. Just bring the vodka and lemonade to me and put it by this chair. I've got the remote on so I can listen to the ranting rev. But initially, we always do things with humour, which is what I love about being English and the Scots. The Scots are even drier, which is a bit of an oxymoron considering how much they drink. And the Welsh, well, it always rains. That's why it's the green glass of home. How green is my valleys? Wales just rains all the time. So their humour's not so dry. It's more fire. It's more red-headed. It's more fire. And the Irish, well, they'll go fighting with anybody. They love a bit of a do to the Irish. So, and literally, they've got hollow legs. So we all have different flavours of our sense of humour, our collective sense of humour. So this, I watched something on this morning. I never watch it. No, Good Morning Vietnam or something on very early doors in this country, and I watched it, and there was some, well, what can I say, scum-sucking pond life from like a professor from Birmingham University, and he was saying oh, well, you know, my slave masters, the people that put my family into slavery, well, they used that flag and they used the Union Jack. And I was like, you dim, caring, understanding 90s type. It's not a jack, you prat. It's only a jack when it's flown from the jackstaff on a boat. Ship, boat, something that bobs along on the water. That's only the place it's a Union Jack. And he's on as a professor? I mean, he's probably sort of intellectually quite bright, but common sense. I wipe more off my hairy backside than he's got. So he's going, ooh, ooh, ooh. And I thought, oh, I'm being triggered. Am I going to go down the racist route? Am I going to go down the route where he doesn't know what he's talking about? No. He doesn't. He hasn't got a fucking clue. So all this bullshit about reparations and, oh, that flag's racist. Oh, that flag's racist. Well, go off back to where your parents came from then. Because if you can't integrate into this country, had away and shite, man. Because we just want to be happy. We don't want you pointing anything out that's a lie. It's a lie. Slavery's a lie. This country stopped slavery first. It's a lie. Ask the black man in Africa. The black man in Africa that sent the black man across to America for the money. The money. It was a black man in Africa that sent the black man from Africa to America for the money. The moolah. The greenbacks. And they don't talk about that, do they? No, do they? Bollocks. I mean, they don't talk about the white slaves that was taken by the Dutch across to America. The white man from this country. The white man, you know, the one that you want the reparations from. Well, they were sold into slavery and sent across the channel into America. You don't talk about that, do you? No, because it doesn't fit your fucking work agenda. What an absolute arsehole. They go on there, they think they know what they're talking about. I have shit more intelligent stuff than these people. Black man, Africa, enslaved black man, and sent them to America. Should we talk about that then? Who we're getting the reparations from? Africa? Oh, we'll have to send more money across to them then. International aid, won't we? No, we won't. So I lost my sense of humour. And there was some other guy. They were having some kind of debate. And the other guy couldn't even, because I think they get people on there that are constrained because they don't want them actually telling you the truth. They want the woke agenda. It's IT fucking V. They want the agenda, the woke agenda. And they'll say to people, right, would you like to come on and guest? No. Oh, why not? It's ITV. I don't give a... I don't care how much money you're paying. You're just woke arseholes. You won't let me tell the truth. They would never, ever, ever allow me anywhere near a TV camera. They've tried in the East Midlands and in South Wales, but I'll just tell them the truth. And they're like, no, you can't say that. Why not? It's fact. But nobody likes to talk about it because it doesn't suit the woke agenda. It doesn't suit the left, the Marxists, the socialists, the fucking communists. It doesn't suit their agenda. No, you can't say that. Well, try to, because we stopped slavery in this country. But if you want to talk slavery, how about the enslaved mind? Same thing. Everybody's there to pay taxes. No, they don't like a debate. They don't like... So, Barbary pirates raided Southern Ireland and Southern England for slaves well into the early 18th century. I know, Les, that's what I'm saying. The white man of this country, the indigenous populace, were enslaved and taken across to America. It's not the deep south where all the blacks were, because they're saying that, well, it was the white man that enslaved the black man. I think you'll find out that's not true. I think you'll find the African black man enslaved the black man and sold him for very good money to the Americans. And I just want to ask you a question on all of this, and you can comment if you wish. When Christopher Columbus found America, the locals spoke to him in English. How does that fucking work then? Who taught them the English? You see? History. It's all bullshit. Neil Cunningham, Dame Caroline McCall's woke ITV's finished. I know, Neil. I mean, I just came upon it. Rusty's roamings. Loads of Scandinavians have Scottish markers in their DNA because Vikings captured people and took them home. So can Scottish claim reparation from Denmark? Should do. Mind you, if the Scots went across there, they'd have conquered Denmark in about 5 minutes. And that's just the women. Don't, Adrian. Facts don't give a fuck about your emotions. I'll bet they don't, Ray. But look, facts are facts. Facts are facts. And there's lots of research, lots of papers, lots of books written, but they're never kind of promoted, where, I mean, there were slave traders and slave masters in Africa that were black and then sold the indigenous populace from Africa as slaves to America. Nobody talks about that, do they? Well, Africa's got any money. And this is fact. I mean, nobody, because it's always agendas. And if you talk about facts, you know, Pakistan is made up of 2 words. Paki and Stan. And I will give you the literal translation of both of those so that you understand correctly what the etymology of Pakistan means. Stan means land, and Paki is tribe of Paki. So they put the 2 together. So it's land of the tribe of Paki. It's not some derivative that's racist, so they've shortened the name. That's etymology of the word Pakistan. And yet when, this is what I say, when they get experts on TV and they're talking about it and they go, it's racist, it's racist, it's racist. No, actually, it's a tribal word. And it's the name of the tribe that the tribe have given themselves. And Stan means, so you've got Tajikistan, Turkmenistan, Afghanistan, Pakistan. Stan means land. So when you say, oh, I've looked at the etymology of the word and it means this, they go, oh no, etymology, what are you talking about? It's the meaning of the, and the derivative where the word has come from, etymology. So when you're talking about slaves, please be correct. So that's just a little aside. That was me being funny. Don Wiggly, same with us, sending criminals to Australia. I know. Get rid of our shite. That's why we call Australia the land of the criminals. Sam, Punjab, Afghan, Kashmir, Indus. Well, yes, Afghanistan. They're all, it's, if you look at the, because when people are arguing facts, they say are facts. They're not actually arguing facts. They're just taking other people's words and regurgitating them rather than do their own research, come up with their own facts, as I have just done with you there, because I did the research. I looked at the etymology of the word. When the Indians and the Pakistanis were fighting, 2 nuclear powers going head to head. Right, ya bastards, we're going to kick your head in. Neil Cunningham says, I want reparations from Starmer for the sufferings BS. That's why the pews are called the Starmers, because they're a little hard on your derriere. £10 poms, I know, Alan, brilliant. So let's go full circle, because I started about the cross of St. George, as people are describing it. It's actually a Templar cross. So the Templar cross started on a white tunic. Now, this is Catholicism, because they were the army of Catholics. They were protecting the Catholics, the Roman Catholics, when they left this country. And they left quite a few places, like Nottingham. There's a pub that they all congregated in Nottingham. Is it called the Old Jerusalem? And there's a pub in London. I can't remember where. I've been to see it, where they would all congregate, and the Templars would give them passage. They would get on Templar ships and they would go across the Mediterranean at various stops. It would take quite a while to get there, but the Templar cross, so that there were two symbols that the pilgrims recognized. One was the Templar cross. Now, the Templar cross, there was a couple of different Templar crosses. There was the cross of Jerusalem, which is a cross with four smaller crosses in sort of each quadrant. That is the Jerusalem cross, but it's a Templar cross. So when you see that cross, you know it was derived from the Knights Templar. The Knights Templar were officially created in the Church of the Holy Sepulchre in Jerusalem, which I've visited quite a few times. It is spectacular, let me tell you. Not in a kind of breathtaking view, but just energetically, it is spectacular. There is another cross. It's called the Cross of the Eight Beatitudes. And that's what you would see on a Templar tunic, which was white with a red cross. The red cross representing the blood of the Christ, and the Eight Beatitudes. Too much to go into here. And then you have this very simple, not stylized, but very simple red cross on a white background that represents we Englanders, the English. So you can see how white background, red cross, to represent the blood of the Christ. It is a Christian cross to represent the blood of the Christ. Templar derivative. Les Griffith says the Templars were more concerned with commerce than religion. I'll give you that, Les. They made a few bob. Ended up in Switzerland. The pub was the Canistan Inn. Where's that one, Ray? Is that in Nottingham? I mean, I thought it was the old Jerusalem. I saved a documentary on the Templars. Watch it tomorrow. Where did you see that? I see you. Because I do. City of Lincoln looks like the Sudan these days. Thank you, Alan. Did you go to Clapham Junction in Malta? Very interesting. Tell me more, Jackie. Yes, I did go to Malta. Yes, I did go on a Templar hunt. And yes, the guide that was guiding us for a few days, he came across to London, and I toured London and gave him a sort of Templar background in London, because there's loads of it. Les Griffiths, one Templar symbol is a bloodied axe. So is the skull and crossbones. That's why, or what's it called in America? Skull and bones. That's Templar based. So where's the line that defines racism? It's so muddied these days. I think you'll find, Dom, that it's actually reverse racism now. They're telling us that we're racist, and we're, as I said last night about our national pride without an ounce of jingoism. Why are we not allowed to love our country? Why are we not allowed to love our quirks, our bit madness, if you want, our eccentricity? Why are we not allowed to love the beauty of our land, whether it's the Lake District or North Yorkshire or Devon and Cornwall, or if you want the collective of Great Britain, looking at the beauty of Scotland and the beauty of South Wales? I mean, I've extensively travelled this island. I've never been to Northern Ireland, bizarrely, just because of the troubles. But I have been to Dublin and Southern Ireland many, many times, because one of my footballing heroes, Charlie Hurley, who, in my opinion, was one of the, if not the greatest centre-backs in football ever. I've kind of... Aidan Wellsmith. Yes, it might have done a red cross on a white background, but it was the Templars that adopted it. There was another thing, you know, it's not a conch shell. I'm trying to think of. There is the fan shell. I can't remember the exact name of the shell. Bohemian Grove related to the Templars? No, Andrew. No. Jackie Glasgow. It's a place where there was a trading route. There are loads of long ruts in the ground caused by the Roman carts. There was a base there in the Second World War, I seem to remember. There, from my memory, Jackie, there was of course there was a base there in the Second World War. The Brits have had a base there for donkey's years. And the Maltese history starts after the Templars were kicked out of Accra, and they were journeying through Cyprus, Malta, because Malta's not too far from Sicily, and we've holidayed a few times in Sicily, and I've always said I'd love to go to Malta just to check it out for the Templar stuff. And it's a lot of the Templar stuff in Malta is there, definitely, but they don't say it's Templar. They just say it's the pirates. It's not Templar. It's the kind of Malta starts in the 1500s with the Corsairs. But the Corsairs would have been some form of Templar. But again, the Templar became the Knights Hospitaller because the Knights Hospitaller disappeared with all the cash, all the money, all the investments, all the special stuff. And because the Catholic Church wanted, and the French king wanted the Templars dead. But this cross of St. George, it's everywhere now. Oh, Kingdom of Heaven. Right, okay. Aidan. Thank you, Aidan. Rosslyn Chapel, stunning building. Darren, I'm with you. I've been there loads of times because I live just outside of Edinburgh. So Rosslyn Chapel and Rosslyn itself is a wonderful place. And again, I went there a few times after they put the new visitor centre on there, which cost a bloody fortune. And there's symbolism within symbolism within symbolism in Rosslyn Chapel. And I've had a few different guides. I've had Masonic guides. I've had Christian guides. I've had one of the owners was there one time, and she kind of just everybody crowded around her, and she just started talking about the apprentice pillar, and this and that and the other. And then I went downstairs into the crypt. Now in the film, the Da Vinci Code, at the end they go down into the crypt, and obviously that was just some made up place on a Hollywood set. So I went down into the crypt expecting to see what I saw in the Da Vinci Code. And what I saw was a Templar, how can I describe it? It's not a tomb, it's not a grave. It was a concrete casket, if you will. But it had a Templar effigy on the top with his sword. And I said to her, oh, that's a bit interesting, because literally about a quarter of a mile away from Rosslyn Chapel, there is an actual Templar grave, which is protected and looked after by the locals. Why would they do that? And you can't see it from the road. You don't know that it's there. You only know that it's there if you know it's there. And I had a friend who used to take his dog walking around there, and he said, are you aware there's a Templar grave there? I was like, how do we shite? You're joking. He said, no. And this was about the time when they were doing some digging in Edinburgh, and they found this Templar sword, and it was soon they kind of got it off the papers, they got it out of the media. It was a Templar burial site with a Templar sword and a Templar skeleton, because of the artifacts they found with the skeleton. They knew it was Templar. So it's symbolism upon symbolism upon symbolism. Exactly, Alan. Knights Templar were God's SAS, Vix Tex, Sepulchre. Yeah, the Church of the Holy Sepulchre. Sarcophagus. Thank you, Jackie. Dave Johnson, has someone started painting red crosses across the width and length of mini roundabouts, according to a Biggleswade newspaper? Some say vandalism, some say patriotism. Dave, perfect into what I was going to say, the cross of St. George. As I was explaining about the Templars, the cross, and the historical references. So what somebody suggested was that they start painting potholes with the cross of St. George, because then the local councils are going to have to come out and repair the potholes to get rid of the crosses, because they're obviously woke and they don't like anybody flying any other flag than the flags from the Middle East. Pakistan, Gaza, all the wokerati were going, oh, life's so unfair. Oh, I bet. Didn't your gyro arrive today? Oh yeah, beauty, that's really strong. So the reason why I wanted to mention the cross of St. George tonight, and going with the humour and going with the facts that that commentators on TV never actually say, because it doesn't adhere to the agenda that they're trying to put out to everyone. It's propaganda. It's not agenda, really. It's propaganda. And this propaganda that they're spouting misses the facts. And I just thought this idea that suddenly made itself known this afternoon on Twitter, where some people are trying to claim it. I had that first. I had that first. Such is life. I get it. I do get it. And respect should be given to the person that came up with the idea. But filling potholes and then marking them with the cross of St. George is genius. Doing, as Dave Johnson's just said, someone started painting red crosses across the width and length of mini roundabouts, according to a Biggleswade newspaper. Wonderful. It's the English thing to do, the British thing to do. It's our eccentricity. Don't forget that we're all mad. We're all a bit touched by the ginger genes. But isn't that wonderful? Now, criminal damage is not so wonderful because that's illegal. And I'm not suggesting anybody commits criminal damage. But the answer to... Actually, we're giving the councils and the government a solution to a problem they never knew they had because we're rising up. It's really that simple. We've had enough. We've had enough of being told we're racist. We've had enough of being told that we're not empathetic or compassionate. We're sick and tired of being told that other people should get in the queue ahead of us when we've been standing in the queue for fucking years. There's people that have wanted a council house for years and years and years and are having their eyes taken out by private landlords. And yet they can't get a council house because somebody else who's just arrived 30 seconds ago has been given it. How does that work? Because I really don't understand that. First rule of governance, first rule of government. You look after the people. You protect your people. Not invite others in and protect them. Now look, if anybody, genuinely, I used to watch the Olympics with great humour because there'd always be teams and athletes that just went there, I'm claiming asylum. Whichever Western country it was in, I want to claim asylum. And they would say, right, you're here representing your country. I know, but I want asylum. So they'd be taken in and they'd be looked at and they'd be processed. In this country, we can't keep up with processing the amount of people that are coming in on a daily basis. They're not illegal migrants. They're not. They're economic migrants. There's a whole difference between the migrancy, illegal or economic. And Europe, because they're evil and corrupt, they're also communist, should actually be dealing with this. Because there's enough space in Europe for them to take as many as they want. But obviously, they're not giving them the NHS. They're not giving them free money, phones, housing, food, everything. Free everything. And then some caring, understanding 90s type is streaming on TikTok or one of the socials to his mates back home going, it's brilliant, it's wonderful here, yeah, loads of money, free housing, free NHS, yeah, I had a problem with my schmeckle, so they went and chopped it off. Brilliant, brilliant. We've got it all wrong in this country, but the people are fighting back in an eccentric, wonderfully funny way. So I'm not condoning criminal damage at all. But if it eases the difficulty that we have with the governance of this country, then so be it. Because, look, I'll give you an example. In Nottingham, I did a lunchtime phone-in. And in Nottingham, I used to go onto my lunchtime phone-in every day, and I used to say to the listeners, look, if you see any of the cops hiding behind bush shelters or bushes and stuff with their speed gun, just call in and let me know. Because then I would help Nottinghamshire Police reappropriate their resources more effectively. Because the purpose of having a speed camera there is to get people to slow down and drive more safely in their view. Brilliant. So I used to, every day, I used to say, speed gun there behind that bus stop. So slow down, speed limit 30 mile an hour. And we would get calls in from Nottinghamshire Police going, oi, you're wrong on what you're doing. I was like, well, hang on a second. All you want, this is not a money-making exercise. You're telling me it's for safety. It's for public safety and it's for driver safety. So all I'm doing is I'm helping you do your job. Slow them down in a particular locale and then you can reappropriate your resources more effectively. Because it's not about raising money. It's about safety, isn't it, Governor? They were apoplectic with me. I mean, some of the cops thought it was really funny. But the higher-ups who were hoping to get a little, a little bit more for the police Christmas party, they didn't enjoy it at all. But I was just helping them do their job. So when we have potholes, they're not being filled. And you know that central government give all local councils money for potholes, pothole money. But they reappropriate it elsewhere because they just think, we'll get away with it. If somebody knackers their car because they've driven through a pothole that we should have fixed. Well. Aidan Wellsmith says, Adrian, if you want the video of the copper inspecting the camera, I have it. Which camera? My brother put up a fake speed camera last week. The police paid him a visit asking him if he knew who put it up. Oh, that really? I'd love to see it, Aidan. I've never been now. So people creating these crosses of St. George, they're everywhere. And now there is a movement to get the Union flag up. Because they can't stop us. They can't. Look, if Charlie can, anybody can. Charles the Weak. Where's he been, by the way? He was wearing a kilt yesterday, so there's pictures of him in the papers today saying he's wearing a kilt. I mean, is that it? Dominic Beresford says, let's paint some potholes with a St. George and others with a Palestinian flag and see which gets filled in first. Interesting, Dominic. Interesting. So I don't... It's the gentle and quaint way which we are rebelling. So we are rebelling, but just in a really English way. In a funny, eccentric, humorous, gentle English way. We're not taking to the streets and we're not kicking off. We've had enough. And that message is coming across very clearly. Oh, just as a little aside, I think it might have been that anonymous bloody emailer, so I'm not doubting anything that they say, but seemingly Labour are going to replace Starmer with Growler. I did say to you a couple of months ago, or was it a month ago? Maybe 6 weeks, when she was doing PMQs. And all of a sudden, a bit like John Prescott. Again, I've told this story before about the Labour Party. So just park the cross of St. George there for a second. I need to mention this before I forget it. So John Prescott was Deputy Prime Minister and stood up at the dispatch box. And all of a sudden, he's real gruff northerner. Aye, right, aye. Hello, my name's John Prescott. And I'm Deputy Prime Minister. So I'm at Prime Minister's Questions today in place of Tony Blair. And everybody went, bugger me, where's his accent gone? And I thought, he's off to the House of Lords. He's going to get a nice seat in the House of Lords. And all of a sudden, Charles was riding a horse yesterday. Make up your own punchline. I was there with you now. And I thought, Prescott's off to the House of Lords. And then Ginger Growler stands up, pretty much same style. Hello, my name's Deputy Prime Minister Rayner. I don't have any sphericals, but my voice has dropped a little bit. And her across there, not good enough. Yeah, we'll get into her ribs. No, well, it wasn't her. It was somebody else. But somebody else got into Rayner's ribs. And to be fair, Growler has more balls. Bigger balls as well, Dave. And from what she's been saying, she was flashing them at Boris from the other side of the hall. She was, oh, hello. And you know that they want to be in the House of Lords. They know the Deputy Prime Minister, there's every chance that they're going to go into the House of Lords. She'll become a Baroness. And hello, my name's Baroness Growler. That's where she's going. But there was just, every now and again, the mask would slip. Right, yeah, Robin. Right, go, come across here and I'll punch your nose. Oh, I say, is that the Deputy Prime Minister? Aye, northern and hard. Well, it's a euphemism, especially when it was Prescott. Just don't chuck any eggs at him. I'd happily fill in ginger growlers pothole. Neil, steady, she'd eat you alive and then suck you out. Or was it suck you in and blow you out in bubbles? Gravy train. How many E's in Angela Rayner? E's are good. E's are good. Cuban Pete. Starmer will only go kicking and screaming. Oh, he's not going to let go of that power until the high Hegians in Labour go, Kia, come here. Right, is this you? Yeah. Is this photograph of you with yeah? And what we're going to do about this? Dunno. Do you want to fall on your sword, or do you want us to sack you? No. I'll just say it's family. I'll go on family reasons, and we'll keep me pork sword completely out of this. A handheld daft police radar unit successfully tracked a military aircraft. Oh, Nicholas, I've heard that story up in the Scottish borders on live manoeuvres in the Otterburn Ranges, nearly causing an auto fire in response. Brilliant. So we have the suggestion is, and I did say before they broke up, that Starmer was on his last legs. That I can't see him going to Liverpool for the Labour Party conference in September. I just can't. He hates Liverpool. I've got the audio. Realistically, I should have put that up on X today so I can sort of back reference it. But he's not. No, he bloody hates Liverpool. Fucking Liverpool. Fucking, because he used that word. I mean, potty mouth sweary Mary. The stock statement: stepping down to spend more time with his family. Yeah, there you go. Debunked history. Painting crosses on roundabout. Debunked history. Surely not the debunked history. Welcome to the body of the Kirk, young sir. Painting crosses on roundabouts and taking down flags will only increase your council tax. No one is rising up. They are still fast asleep. Debunk history. I get what you say, but some of us are wide awake and laughing our caps off. We know what's going on. We know who the paedophiles are. We know who the wrong-uns are. We know who the people who should not be breathing in this sceptred isle. Starmer will be welcomed in Liverpool. Not. I bet he won't. Bit like a copy of The Sun. Same thing. David Graham. Evening, Adrian, from a damp Sunderland tonight. Welcome, David, to the body of the Kirk. Hang on, I see you. Andrew, what's a dry hump? I see you. Do you really want us to tell you? So Andrew James says, what? Starmer meets Zelensky. Sorry, when Starmer meets Zelensky, it always looks like a dry hump is about to happen. Correct. So I see you. Not to put too fine a point on it, it's what a dog does to your leg when it decides your leg looks like the female of the species, which is very funny. Hang on, what's Amalia said? No, definitely don't Google it. Well, if we find out what he's at the conference for, we'll be in the demo outside. Brilliant, Rusty's roamings. I see you. I'll Google it. Don't! No. Don't click on any of the videos. I see you. Don't Google it, says Neil. And Ian McGee's, I'm not explaining a dry hump. And Amalia's laughing her cap off. So we'll just wait for I see you. He'll either have shocked face emoji or he'll be laughing his cap off emoji. So I believe that, why can't they just leave us alone for our little cross of St. George, the red cross on a white background? Can I tell you something that happened to me today? Not that I'm making this about me, not by a long stretch, but I want to, because I can talk about it firsthand. And we've only got 2 days left for digital ID, 21st of August. I've told you, when it comes to the 21st of August, this inquiry into digital ID closes. And then it's done. It's over. It's finished. So we've only got 2 days to save the world. So today, I wanted to renew me driving license. Seemingly, you have to... we don't have the paper ones anymore because we've had to send those back to DVLA. And you have to, like your passport, you have to renew your driving license every 10 years. And let me tell you, if you don't renew your driver's license and you just think, well, I've passed my test, I've got my license. No, you don't. because on DVLA it will be expired substantive. Because I've asked one of my cop friends after I did this, I'm going to go through the steps that I did and explain what I did. I rang one of my cop friends and said, what happens if you don't renew your license? And he went, oh, right, if we pull you over, it'll say expired substantive, whatever that means. And it means you don't have a driving license. Thereby, you don't have insurance. Thereby, we're taking you out of the car because you can't drive the car because you've got no insurance. This is what the government's doing to you. So I had to go to gov.uk and the one login. So I went through this whole rigmarole. And to authenticate who you are, you can either take a picture of your passport, and my passport's only a year old, so the picture's fairly recent. You can either use an authenticator app, and I was like, I'm not going down that route. I'm not going to have anybody know my details, because then that's out in the ether. It's on the internet. I'm not having that. So what am I going to do? Give us your mobile number. So it's the lesser of two evils. They either have an authenticator app, which has got all your details in that they can access anytime they want, and other people will sell on your data, or you can give them your mobile number. I chose the mobile number. Next question. And this is just to renew. It only costs 14 quid. This is just to renew my driving license. And then they asked me, was I on a computer or a tablet? And I thought, hang on a second, what's it got to do with you? It doesn't matter whether it's a computer or a tablet. It's just my computer. But it wouldn't let me continue unless I told them. So I had to tell them. And then the next question is, do you have access to an iPhone? So they're literally chopping off. It's death by 1,000 paper cuts. So they've give us your mobile number. What kind of computer are you using? Computer or tablet? And do you have access to an iPhone or Android? So I told them I had no choice. I told them I had access to an iPhone. That I'm using. And then I go to the next page, and they said, right, what we need you to do is scan the biometrics on your passport. I've given you my mobile number. I've told you what kind of computer I'm using. I've told you that I've got access to an iPhone. And now you want the biometric scan from my passport? And I thought, I've got no choice. All the way through, every question. The one login, because as I've said with digital ID, they're going to amalgamate everything, every bit of your data into one place. And then we get to this page where it's got some weird scan of my face. And they go, is that you? In some sense, yes, but face for radio. And they go, right, it might flash a bit. Put your face in the oval window. And I'm thinking, is this Watch with Mother? Is today through the oval window? So I'm like, I've got my phone here, just so it can scan my face. And all of a sudden, it's like a disco in my house. It's going off. I'm thinking, where's the music? I can't hear a music. It's not a bloody deaf disco or whatever they call it. Silent disco. What's going on? What's going on? And it's like flashing, 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 flashing. And then it stops. So thanks very much. Finished. What are you doing? Now, I know that, banks do it and face recognition, but this was a whole new level of facial recognition. So now they have access to me Physog. They've got it in their database. So if I'm, say, on a peace rally or a demonstration, and their facial recognition cameras go, ping! Oh, the fat ginger lad. Yeah, that's him. Yeah, got his name. Adrian Allen. Know where he lives. He definitely has a mobile phone. Here's his mobile phone number. We know what kind of computer he's using, and we know he's using an iPhone. We've got his biometrics from his passport, and now we've got his Face ID. Can you see how they're doing this? And then they said, the next page, right, we're going to check your details against details held by another organisation. Who the bloody hell's that? The aliens. So they've corroborated all of the information that I've given them against another organisation. Don't know who that's going to be. MI5? Are they checking to see that I'm not wanted? Are they checking to see that I'm not a complete, not a wrong'un? But this is, so when you, I'll guarantee you, the NHS app is going to be subsumed into this one login, the gov.uk login, your passport, your driving license, your NHS details and your health stuff are all going to be subsumed into this one login. Oh, the live chat just disappeared. Hang on, what's he saying? Rich, where are you, Rich? Driving with an out-of-date photo is technically an offence under the Road Traffic Act. It's not driving otherwise than in accordance with a licence, which would be endorsable. If your driving licence, so if you've got, from what I understand, and I might get this wrong because I was told over the phone, if you have a provisional driving licence and you're driving under that provisional driving licence, you can't drive on your own. If you pass your test and you get a full driving license, if you get a speeding ticket and you get 3 points and you don't send in your driving license to be updated, then that driving license, I think as Debunked History has said, isn't in accordance. But that's not a criminal offence. But if a cop pulls you over and you haven't renewed the photo on your driving license because they wanted to use the photograph from my passport, but I said no, I wanted to use the more recent one from my recent passport. Sorry, they wanted to use the photograph from my old driving license and move it onto my new driving license. I said no, use my passport photograph, which is barely a year old. It's more up to date. But if you are expired substantive, and that's what would happen if you didn't renew your driving license. So my driving license runs out in about a month's time because I got a letter saying your driving license is going to run out. If I didn't renew my driving license in time, it would be expired substantive. And that means you are without insurance. It means you can't drive a car. And then you might get your license taken off you, depending how serious it is. But they've got you by the short and curlies. Mick H says, grow a beard. Well, like Prince Edward. If you know, you know. I have thought about that. But can you imagine? I turn up looking like Grizzly Adams. You'd be like, bloody hell, Adrian, face for radio. What the bloody hell are you doing with that beard, man? I've just said she can sit in the corner and watch. My MP is having marital problems at the moment. Can't get any sense out of him. Interesting. Gerard defendant says his MP has completely ignored him. Wow. But this one login is going to become a thing that they're going to corral you into. They're not going to allow you to say, no, I'm not doing that. Well, you're going to have to. You've got no choice, as I did today. And you go through all these levels, and you have to do as you are told. To get a new driving license, if I didn't get a new driver's license, I can't drive a car because I'm without insurance. And that's illegal. And do you know the cheeky feckers right at the very end? They said, would you like to donate your organs to the NHS? And I thought, I've got a piano, I haven't got an organ. But I know what they're after. Do you know how much organs make on a particular market? And I thought, you cheeky, caring, understanding 90s type. I just said, no. Foxtrot Oscar. I'm not donating my schmeckle. I'm still using it for another 30 years. Oh. And the reason why I've told you that is I want to put that on your radar because it's coming for absolutely everybody. Everybody. Can't get out of it. So within 10 years or however long you've got your driving license for, you are going to have to go through that process and give them all the details that they will corroborate. the flashing lights and the Face ID is particularly worrying for me, because now their cameras have got it and they will know who I am and where I'm walking. So say I go into a major city like, I don't know, Newcastle, Manchester, Birmingham, Liverpool, London. If I go into any of those major cities, the facial recognition will be there because they put 10 extra vans in there. They just sit there. Bing, 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 bing. Oh, there's Adrian Allen. He's, bloody hell, what's he doing in Liverpool? Can't get around it. And they'll use the excuse, if you've got nothing to worry about, you've got nothing to worry about. If you've not done anything wrong, you've not got anything to worry about. I don't know what dotal means, Alan. Sorry. Top of 69's dodged that until 2032. Lionel Layton says, bloody predictive text, phone number. I want to talk, we'll very quickly go through some of the stuff that I want to talk about. Forget Tower Hamlets and the St. George Cross, because we're doing it with humour now. As I went on for quite a while this evening, we're doing it with humour. We're not doing it aggressively. We're doing it with humour. And I welcome anything that's done with humour. We can talk about Sniffy and the Coke train. He's turned up in a suit as predicted. Seemingly Putin has agreed that with the US, Europe could offer a NATO-style security guarantee to Ukraine. And a Trump envoy said, no, you can... Foxtrot Oscar. I want to tell you some Cotswolds rumours that I'm hearing. Now, you know what the Cotswolds are like? Full of swingers, pampas grass and pineapples. But you know when J.D. Vance was fishing with Fat Lammy's Gastric Band, and neither of them had a licence to fish, which is finable up to £2,500. The rumours that I'm hearing, and I can't give you my source, a journalist never does, what I've heard apparently is that the kitchen staff from the Bull in Charlbury in the Cotswolds actually went across to J.D. Vance's accommodation and cooked there for him. The deputy president, vice president, whatever you want to call him, J.D. Vance was staying in the Cotswolds for that photo op with Fat Lammy's Gastric Band. But the kitchen staff from the local pub, the Bull in Charlbury, actually didn't cook for him there. They went across to his accommodation and cooked for him there. And seemingly they were allowed to do that because the party, and I won't go any further into detail, didn't agree with the waiting staff's political views. So the Wogarati was serving in the pub, and the VIP was like, no, not coming in there. Bloody hell, man. Did anybody else notice how good Sniffy's English was? No sniffing. He's wearing a suit, so he wasn't on the marching powder. Very good English. And I thought, hang on a second. He used a Ukrainian translator when he was on the sniff next to Trump. And now he's speaking very good English. I mean, maybe those 3 Ukrainian translators that he recommended to Starmer obviously trained him in very, very good English. So with all I still don't understand why all the European leaders went across to hold Sniffy's hand, well, just to make sure he was straight and not on the gear, before he met with Trump, because the last time everybody knew, Trump was like, you can start Oscar, Hadaway and shite, man. We're not having that. We want people straight when they talk to the president, because the president doesn't drink, doesn't smoke, doesn't do whatever he's doing. David Graham says Lammy is probably thinking, God blimey. Oh, King 777, I've got an old driver's license and an out-of-date passport. It's going to end in tears, especially if you get pulled over. Mind you, the passport, I've not got a biometrics one, because like, oh, have a biometrics passport. It gets you through. You just wander up, put your passport in, wink, 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 wink. Oh, yeah, you're fine. We recognise you. Through you go. But they have to take all your details to get there. So seemingly Trump interrupted this kind of meeting with all the... so Sniffy, do you want us to come with you? Because you know that big bad man, the orange man, the Trump man, the Donald. He might tell you to fox the Oscar again. Oh, okay. Okay, you're going to come and hold my hand. Well, you're the size of a child. We may as well. But while Trump was talking to everybody else that was going across with Sniffy to protect him, bless him, he didn't want kicking out of Washington again. The Donald says, lads, hang on a second. Yeah, you and Ursula von der Leyen, but she's had 7 kids. You'll have to pack that with liver. Donald, the Trump, the orange man, has turned around and said, hang on, I've just got to go and call Vladimir Putin, President Putin, you know, the head guy in Russia. I'm not going to talk to you lot. I'm just going to ring President Vladimir Putin. So the development today is it's all about the Benjamins. It's all about the money, the greenbacks, the moolah, the Benjamins. What the bloody hell are you talking about, Adrian? I'm talking about Ukraine has offered America $100 billion weapons deal to President Trump. So seemingly, Ukraine has promised to buy $100 billion worth of American weapons financed by Europe. So that's why all the bloody Europeans were with them, because I've told you before, the way the politicians get rich, they create an NGO, non-governmental organisation. The money goes out of their country into this NGO and then comes back into their trouser pocket. I'm pointing there because that's where my arse is. So it all comes into their trouser pocket. Now, Sniffy has done this to obtain US guarantees for its security after a peace settlement with Russia. The Financial Times is reporting this. They've seen the document. It's $100 billion worth of American weapons financed by Europe. Oh, hang on a second. Financed by who? Yeah, 2-tier free gear, queer as Starmer. That's because he's queer as folk. So that's what they're all up to. £3 billion a year into Ukraine. For what reason? Because we're friends, we're mates. Don't, Adrian. The digital ID inquiry ends on the 21st of August, but the debate starts on the 2nd of September. I know, before they return for Parliament. Lead-in time, according to Laird Wookfit, time to make and deliver is 5 to 7 years for Patriot. US has a shortfall in their numbers and Israel have already paid for theirs. So Sniffy is in a queue. He can wait. I see you. And this government wants my taxes. Of course they do. Oh, well, don't worry. The budget in October or November, whenever it's going to come, Rachel Reeves is going to absolutely muller the middle classes. Muller. Because they don't care. They're communists. Where all men are equal, except some men are more equal than others. Reeves doesn't care. Give me money. I don't care about your savings. You can give me that as well. And we're going to tax your pay and your savings at source. Because we're going to have digital ID, so we can do whatever we want. And nobody can argue with them. Nobody. If you think it's a tinderbox now in this country, wait till she throws her budget at the middle classes. She's already mullered the pensioners, the poor bloody pensioners. They're going to be eating gruel and scratting around for bloody locusts to eat. So under these proposals that Kiev, it's not Kiev, it's in Kiev, as in chicken Kiev. Chicken Kiev. Oh, is that for the middle classes? The ones that the Labour Party are going after to take all their money, all their inheritance. It's like straight out of your trouser pocket. You're not giving anything away. We're having it. We're the state. How very dare you? You can go into a gulag for the next 30 years. Oh, by the way, you've posted a meme on Facebook, 31 months. We're the government. We don't care. We don't care whether you live or die. So long as you keep paying your taxes and your national insurance, that's all we care about. Because we're just crooks. We're corrupt and we're crooked. So under the proposals, Kiev and Washington would also strike a $50 billion deal to produce drones, with Ukrainian companies that have pioneered the technology since Russia's full-scale invasion in 2022. Knock, knock. Ricky who? Ah, well, that's the news cycle for you. Ricky Jones, where's the story gone? It's only been a couple of days. No opinion pieces, no reportage, nothing. There's no dissenting, there's no challenging, there's no nothing. So where's the story gone? The government's bought them off. I've told you before how they... Look, the government may as well write all the bullshit and propaganda that's in the daily newspapers because the government owns them. The weak and feckless press. The government owns them. Or, if I may be so bold, government supporters seemingly own them. But if the Sun's losing 50 million a year, they've got to fill that particular dirty black hole, talking of Rachel from accounts, as we weren't. So I'm going to give you something now that has not been reported, has not been reported on, has not been written about in any of the daily newspapers or the weekend magazines or the daily TV or, more importantly, daily radio in this country. They're all Billy bullshitters. You know Charlie 19? You know what I'm talking about, the jibber jabber. So there's now data evidence. A former Washington Post writer says of the Charlie 19 lab leak, they fact-checked it, and this fact-checker says, and I'm paraphrasing, but it's almost a quote, "It is an infinite regret." A guy called Glenn Kessler. He worked as a facts-checking columnist at the Washington Post for 28 years. So he's ball deep in knowing what a journalist does. So he's left that job and he's written an article titled "Why I Left the Washington Post." Obviously not the brightest. So whilst at the Washington Post, Glenn Kessler, he edited a piece titled "Was the new coronavirus accidentally released from a Wuhan lab? It's doubtful." Now he's added the "it's doubtful" part to the article. He said that the original fact checks about the origins of the coronavirus were mainly aimed at debunking the idea that it was deliberately engineered as a biological weapon. Looking back, Kessler calls this an infinite regret. So the association of SARS-CoV-2 vaccination status with the risk of influenza-like illness and loss of workdays in healthcare workers. In this multi-center cohort study, for want of a better term, the researchers sought to determine the association of SARS-CoV-2, Charlie 19, and the jibber-jabber status and other risk factors with the occurrence of influenza-like respiratory illness and workdays lost due to influenza-like respiratory illness. In both analyses, they show more jibber-jabbers were associated with a higher risk of influenza-like respiratory illness and workdays lost. I'm going to say that to you again. The jibber-jabber was associated with a higher risk of these influenza-like respiratory illnesses and workdays lost. If you're not getting it, I'll say it again. The jibber-jabber, the V's, are associated with a higher risk of influenza-like respiratory illnesses and workdays lost. Are you getting it yet? So for the influenza-like respiratory illnesses, which is a bit of a gobful, the association is stronger with a more recent timing of the jibber-jabbers rather than the number of jibber-jabbers, which suggests that the effect wanes over time. All right, I'll paraphrase for you, because I know it's kind of getting late and you might have had a long day. So basically they're saying that the jibber-jabbers created more symptoms than the Charlie 19, but the symptoms wane over time. But based on this data that they're talking about, they conclude that the Charlie 19 boosted jibber jabbers do not contribute to the protection of the healthcare workforce in a post-pandemic setting. It's kind of mealy mouthed. It's word salad. But in essence, the jibber jabber didn't work. The jibber jabber does not contribute, and for varying reasons, because of its YouTube, varying reasons, I'm having to quote the data and the article from the Washington Post. That's an American newspaper, and the people that run this are American, so they can do their own research or get their AI bots that's sentient to do it. In fact, the AI is probably going to agree with me. So I'm going to give that to you again. The jibber jabber does not contribute to the protection of the healthcare workforce in a post-pandemic setting. In other words, after the Charlie 19, the jibber jabber don't work. And the jibber jabber may even temporarily increase the likelihood of symptomatic infection and workday loss. So the jibber jabber is contributing to symptomatic infection and work days lost. So the jibber jabber caused a worse reaction than the Charlie 19 out of the bloody wet bat market in China. My hairy backside. So now you know, the date is out. Washington Post can be corroborated by what has been written by somebody who's been in journalism for 28 years. Jibber jabber didn't work. It was actually worse than the Charlie 19 itself, according to their details. I'm going to give you another surprise update about Lucy Letby. Super Ted says, spot on Adrian. I didn't get ill until I got the jibber jabber. Fuck me right off. Fuck me right up. Super Ted, I'm sorry to hear that. Ray Norton says, my mate had more jabs than Harold Shipman gave out. And Harold Shipman was some boy, let me tell you. Oh, God, Lauren Taylor, I'm so sorry. My husband literally dropped dead 10 days after having the first AstraZeneca. Wow, we'd been out that morning. Lauren, I'm so sorry to hear that. Amalia Grassi says, we've known this for years. Do they think they're surprising us? Arseholes. Sorry, assholes. I'm speechless, Lauren. I'm really sorry to hear that. Dr. 69, correlation and causation, increase in sickness benefit claims skyrocketed since 2021. Well, there's a thought from the 69. Rich T. Biscuit says, I got my COVID jab and now I have a new superpower. I can resist boring parties and sniff out hand sanitizer from a mile away. And Jackie Glasgow's right. The flu all but disappeared when COVID was here. Charlie 19, just to get us past the censors. And as Les Griffith says, if you needed a test to see if you were ill, you weren't ill. It was really, no, I kind of, no, I'm not going to go down that route. I'll let you comment and make your comments to Lauren if you wish. But thank you for saying that, Lauren. I really appreciate it. And I know you're a very respected member of the body of the Kirk, but that's all I can say is we're with you. We all experienced what went on in those weird and awful years in varying ways, but my heart goes out to you and your family. Because in my view, the politicians knew. In my view, there are doctors still practicing that also knew. The data was telling them. Amalia's just said, we knew. We didn't need the data, we knew. So, if I may be so bold, from everybody in the body of the Kirk, thank you for letting us know, Lauren, and we wish you and your family the very best and well, and a long life. Alan Little, the US Senate discussing the jibber jabber. Very good video. Oh, how Gates and Fauci are not in jail, I will never know, ever. But it's all corrupt. All of it is. I want to talk about Lucy Letby because there's been a bit of a surprise update today. So there's new Lucy Letby papers that have surfaced. And within these papers, it's a bit of a bombshell. They're talking about a revenge claim. So let me explain that. Lucy Letby, so Nadine Dorries, the headline in the Daily Mail, which is what made me do my little bit of research, what her old friends told me about the Lucy Letby they knew. And seemingly Lucy Letby repeatedly raised the alarm over doctors' blunders in the baby unit. Now, her team say she became a target. So internal management forms at the hospital have revealed how she formally highlighted apparent failures of care in her neonatal unit shortly before she was removed from her duties at the request of a senior doctor. The lawyer heading Lucy's new legal team claimed that senior medics had targeted her in revenge for her whistleblowing. I'm going to give you that again. And there is a reason why I'm giving you that again. Because you know sometimes I don't elaborate. I just put it on your radar. It's for you to do your research. You can go away and reflect on it or do your research. But I think this is incendiary. I'll say it again. Internal management forms at the hospital where Lucy worked have revealed how she formally highlighted apparent failures of care in her neonatal unit shortly before she was removed from her duties at the request of a senior doctor. The lawyer heading Lucy's new legal team claimed that senior medics had targeted Lucy in revenge for her whistleblowing. I'll leave that with you, because that's going to come back again. And I was aware of that months and months and months ago, but for legal reasons didn't want to say anything. But a senior doctor requested her removal after she highlighted apparent failures of care in the neonatal unit. I think this needs to be looked at deeply, forensically. And 3 managers are under investigation currently. Oof. And now the BBC, good old BBC, wouldn't trust them to... The inventor of the PCR test says it wasn't invented to diagnose viruses. King Treble 7, thank you for that. Neil Cunningham, she also raised concerns about the infant mortality rate. I know she did, Neil. But the fact that and I'm quoting again, senior doctor, senior medics had targeted her in revenge for her whistleblowing. Who are these senior doctors? Who are these senior medics? Oh, I think there's a lot more to come out. I think Lucy was going to be out of jail because her conviction, in my view, and I'm not necessarily an expert, but in my view, her conviction is unsafe across the board. So who was the senior doctor who wanted her removed from her duties in the neonatal unit, and who were the senior medics that targeted her in revenge for the whistleblowing? Let's just have an adult conversation about it. Laird Wookfit does have a point. English bottle cap. True. In the end, she will get out, and they will blame it on the stats. I think we need to be having a look at who the whistleblower. Who were the senior medics in the neonatal unit? Who's protecting whose arse here? And this is from her legal team. So her lawyers, her legal team, are definitely going in all guns blazing. They're going to get her off. BBC won't report it accurately, though. Do you want to know why? The BBC has admitted to broadcasting inaccurate Lucy Letby figures. So the former nurse's barrister is going to complain to Ofcom over misleading statistics relating to the dislodgement of baby breathing tubes. So even the bloody BBC can't report it correctly. So what's going on? Who are the senior medics? And why, all of a sudden, are things looking a little awry? For me, personally, Lucy Letby's jailing is unsafe. Thank you, Darren. Excellent, intelligent content as per. Thank you, Darren. Do you want me to tell you a little story? What goes on in Vegas stays in Vegas. Well, unless you're an Israeli, unless you're a Jew. So, seemingly, a senior... hang on a second. Very good. Young Terry says, if they go for her being stitched up, it undermines people's confidence in the police, the justice system, and the medics for that matter. We can't have that, so they will blame the stats. Very good. Very good. Yeah, it'll be swept under the carpet. She'll come out, do interviews, write a book, make a few million. Won't be allowed to nurse again, obviously, but she'll make a few million with all the interviews and stuff. And everybody will be at her for interviews. All the usual suspects online and social media, they'll be at her. But she'll, she'll make a few bob. That's not to say that any kind of money will be recompense for what she's had to suffer and go through. But I want to know who these senior medics were and what they did to Lucy Letby. And what was swept under the carpet. I want it all out in an adult conversation, all out in a court of law. I want to talk to you about this Israeli in Vegas. So from what I can gather, and I said I was going to tell you last night, from what I can gather, there was a senior Israeli cyber official. Now, I know that's a bit of a mouthful, but I have to use it that way and couch it that way. A senior Israeli cyber official has been detained in Las Vegas as part of a child solicitation probe. Remember the Frummers in New York? And the underground tunnels? And the mattresses, stained mattresses? And they were trying to work out why they had kids down there. I'll leave the New York story alone for the moment. American cops have said that a guy called Tom Alexandrovich, a cyber directorate division head, faces charges, head's a very unfortunate term and phrase, faces charges of luring a child with a computer for a sex act. They're saying that he's legged it, he's buggered off, he's gone back to Israel, and he's been put on leave. Yeah, all swept under the bloody carpet. So the Israeli, who was facing charges of luring a child with a computer for a sex act, that's not hit the newspapers. That's not been made public. Has it? No. Not even in America. So I'm kind of rattling through some of the subjects I know very quickly this evening. But I want to tell you, this is rather large. I'm not a science queen by any stretch of the imagination, but this is rather large. And I have told you repeatedly over the 3 years that this channel has been on line. It's not on air, it's online. That the Rothschilds banking family are within, it was then 7 countries, of owning all of the central banks worldwide on planet Earth. Yeah, as Nicholas, just as a little aside before I get into what I'm about to tell you, because it's a big story. Paula Ann Venables, the priest and British former businesswoman who was the chief executive officer of the Post Office Limited when the scandal hit, now it happened to her. I know we even knew. Well, not for the moment. The inquiry is still ongoing. Oh, very good point, English bottle cap. Wi-Fi is on air. Stuart, thank you. I really appreciate your continued support. Thank you. So Wi-Fi technically is on air. All right, I'll take that, English bottle cap. So what I want to talk about is the now 6 countries that the Rothschilds banking family are away from owning all of the central banks worldwide. So they'll own the banking, the money, just in time for digital ID and banking. So what are the six then? Because you've probably forgotten. There was Syria, but they've now got that. Venezuela, Hungary, North Korea, Iran, China, and Russia. Now, Jacob Rothschild, the head of the banking family, is worth about $500 trillion. Richest man in the world. Because he just owns all the money, all the fiat currencies. He owns all the banking. But I've told you, look, Israel are going to kick off against Iran. That's going to come back. Don't worry. That war's going to happen again. So it's going to kick off between Israel and Iran. And we know why. Because Iran's got a central bank that the Rothschilds and Israel want control of. The central bank. Not just the banking, the central bank. So who else is left to go? Oh, Venezuela. Oh, fan my brow. Venezuela's coming up in 30 seconds after I've told you about this. Because I've told you to keep an eye on these countries. Venezuela, Hungary, Iran, North Korea, China and Russia. Keep an eye on every single country. Thank you, Neil. Again, thank you for your continued support. Thank you. I'm going to tell you about Hungary, one of the six, and its regime change. Because from what I'm hearing, the EU is preparing regime change in Hungary. Apparently, the EU is planning to further tighten its interventionist measures in the internal affairs of EU countries. So according to what I've heard, and it was shared originally by Russian authorities, European political elites are planning a regime change in Hungary. Now, you know that it's kind of stood out for, well, they've dissented against the EU. They basically told them that, Foxtrot Oscar, we're hungry, we know what we're doing, a bit like Poland. We're hungry, we know what we're doing, we're not interested in the EU, up yours. And that's to the European bloc, the EU, from within the EU. So they're not for backing down. And this is particularly serious because it highlights the absolute lack of political freedom for an EU member state. So let me just explain what is going on, because this won't be made public. It won't. Russia has oil that flows, as in, yes. It's all in the timing. Russia sends oil to Hungary and Slovakia. But that was halted after it all kicked off with Ukraine. So Russian crude oil flows to Hungary and Slovakia via the Druzhba pipeline, and that was stopped on Monday. And both officials in Slovakia and Hungary are telling the world they've cut the oil off. And Budapest is blaming a Ukrainian attack on a transformer station. So the Ukrainians, we want peace, we want peace. And Putin's like, look, lads, I told you. Look, stop it, otherwise we're just going to bomb the shit out of you, or whatever the equivalent is in Russian. So unlike other EU countries, Hungary has kept up its reliance on Russian energy since it all kicked off between Russia and Ukraine. And Hungary imports most of its crude via the Druzhba pipeline, which runs through Belarus, Ukraine to Hungary and also Slovakia. Now, if you've been monitoring what the Orange Man has been saying, he said he just posted something on Truth Social and it just says Bela. So whatever is happening in Belarus, keep an eye on that because something's about to kick off. Maybe they want the oil to go through to Hungary and Slovakia to stop the EU bloc. Now, all those European leaders going to hold hands with Sniffy in DC, in the Oval Office, that have been talking about this bloody oil because there's a lot of money in oil and gas. So Hungary's foreign minister has said that this latest strike against our energy security is outrageous and unacceptable. He didn't say where or when the attack took place. And even the Slovak pipeline operator confirmed that the supply of oil to Slovakia through the Druzhba pipeline had stopped. Keep an eye on Hungary. Did I mention Venezuela? Of course I did. I'm just being facetious. But are you aware that Venezuela's Nicolas Maduro has said he's deploying 4.5 million militia members in response to outlandish threats by the United States? He's saying, and I quote, "This week, I'll activate a special plan with more than 4.5 million militiamen to ensure coverage of the entire national territory. Militias that are prepared, activated, and armed." So Venezuela's president has said on state television, and it's a technical term that we use in radio, "Don't be fucking with us, man. I've got 4.5 million men that I'm going to activate and cover the entire national territory." Where did that come from? There's the 6 countries that the Rothschilds, by 2030, no doubt, want control of the central banking system. So if you think about it, there's Hungary and there's Venezuela off the list. They've already had Syria and Iraq off the list over the last 10 years. So they would only have left North Korea, Iran, China, and Russia. All of a sudden, 7 or 8 central banks that the Rothschilds want control of, the halfway to victory. Now, they've just got the big uns. How the bloody hell are they going to do that? It's not chaos. It's planned. All of it. I keep telling you, I don't use flowery language or word salad. I just, look, I tell it like it is, like a northerner, straight to the point. And if I've got a potty mouth, then I apologise. But it needs to be told straight. Venezuela, something's going to happen to it. Hungary, definitely going to have something happen to it. Because they want the central banks before they get the central digital currency in every country around the world. My voice is sore now. And you know something? I can only do this with your support. If it wasn't for your support, so please spread the word if you can to everyone. I know somebody said a little earlier that some people are not awake. I understand that. And now maybe the lions that are awake, they've got to leave some of the sheep behind. Because we're only a couple of days away from absolutely being bent over and taking it from this Starmer government. I see you. I hope Temu doesn't close. The U-Bovril, I'm on the bottle now. And Neil says, see if you order a politician from Temu, you get Starmer. That's very funny, Neil. And the U-Bovril. Yes, Nikki, we do have a we can call it a tribe if you wish, but I believe it's a community of people that we're looking for truth. We're truth seekers. We're seeking for knowledge that we can't find anywhere else. And I believe my purpose and being in service of you is cutting through the bullshit and the fog of war and just getting to the stuff that I bring you most nights. Whether it's Hungary or Venezuela, digital ID is going to be very problematic and troublesome. My own personal experiences in the world of trying to get a new driving license, which technically before was just so easy. Do you want a new driving license? Yes, ping, sorted. Now we want to know what your inside leg measurement is, where you've been today, what you had for breakfast. We want to know your telephone. We want to know your computer. What kind of computer? Do you use an iPhone or an Android? All that is just death by 1,000 cuts. Jackie Glasgow says, a friend of mine asked if what she's been hearing is true. She's waking up. Brilliant. Spread the word, Jackie. Please, everyone, spread the word. Share some of the stuff that I do here and let them know. But my message has to be consistent. It's been consistent for nearly 3 years about these countries and the central banks. It's been consistent about what is going on with Starmer. I told you a year before he was elected, in the run-up to the election. Is he scaring you yet? King Trouble 7 says, thank you, Kathy. Again, thank you for your your support. Honestly, I appreciate it from everyone. Everyone. King Treble 7 says, I reckon B. Liar will get the job. He can't get the job. He can't, because he's now on the board of the World Economic Forum. So Blair is dictating policy from the World Economic Forum to Starmer. And Starmer's just doing there as he's told. He's doing as he is told. So B. Liar or Charles Linton, Bow Street Magistrates, Google it, because you can. He's on the board. And I told you the other day, Larry Fink is going to be the chief executive officer of BlackRock. And BlackRock are always, every single year, in Davos for the World Economic Forum. Every year. Because I've been past where they base themselves. And I've seen it. Oh, sorry. Thank you, Michelle. Thank you. And a first timer as well. Brilliant. Again, I appreciate your kindness. Thank you, Michelle. Terry Wookford says he's on about being in charge of the WEF, not the UK. Well, yes. Blair is on the board of the World Economic Forum. Larry Fink, the chief executive officer of BlackRock, is the co-chairman of the World Economic Forum, and they dictate policy to the politicians in this country who do as they are told via the World Economic Forum. That's where all of this is coming from. Stakeholder capitalism. You will own nothing, but be happy. All Klaus quotes. Fatal Racing Driver. Thank you. Oh, and I meant to mention Fatal Racing Driver. Good to see the pictures. Thank you very much for those. Really appreciate them. It's good to see you. And Sooth Shields. Oh, many a happy year. Many a happy year in Sooth Shields. Amanda Grassi, why can't we like some people's donations? I don't know, Amalia. Can you do that? I'll have a look at it. English Bottle Cap, the WEF, the WHO, the World Trade Organization, the United Nations. It's the World Health. No, it's the UN's Agenda 2030 that they're all operating to. But they'll put the UN to the front and say, oh, well, it's them, it's them, it's them. But actually, they're all adhering to it because of the World Economic Forum. Yeah, I agree, Terry. Amalia, you can say thanks in the chat is all. And that's why I acknowledge anybody doing the super likes and the super thanks. I always say thank you. So I think we'll kind of round off tonight there. I think there's certainly enough there for you to be going on with. Some of the things that have been missed by the mainstream media and the propaganda peddlers. And, oh, yes, please, Fatal Racing Driver. Yes, please. I haven't listened to the one that you sent, but yes, please. The more the merrier. Amalia says, yeah, I like Stuart all the time, for example, but couldn't do Fatals as there's no thumbs up to hit. Interesting. It might be kind of the difference between super likes and super thanks. I'm not that technical, Amalia. But yeah, just mentioning them in the chat is it maintains the sense of community, I think. There's other stuff that I'm doing deep research into, because I know that last week doing the 9/11 deep dive was a lot of information. I mean, there was like 8, 9, nearly 10 hours worth of information. That's a lot to be going through. And even Les, who's one of the stalwarts of the channel, says, blimey, Adrian, 5 nights. I'm doing another deep dive. I'm not going to tell you what it is. I've got a couple of people. If History Debunk's been in the chat tonight, I'll go and have a chat with him because I like his videos. I love his style. And we'll get. I'll see if History Debunk is willing to come on and on one of the lives, maybe for the birthday in September. But I am talking to quite a few people to kind of build up more interviews and stuff. Elaine Smith says, another great informative show. Thank you, Elaine. Thank you for your very kind words. And thank you to everyone who's been in the live tonight. We've got another one tomorrow, 7:30 Wednesday. So we're doing Sundays to Wednesdays regularly now. You can either pop in, experience it live. Thank you, Jackie. Thank you. Wow, is that the 20th super? blimey, Jackie, thank you for you're very generous. But I do thank you for your support and everyone's support for the channel. Oh, history debunked. No debunked history. Was in China history. Right, okay. So I've kind of caught up with myself, and I'm doing some other deep dives. I'm doing the research in the background, and I don't think we'll have time to bring it tomorrow night, but I've got other stuff that I want to talk about tomorrow night. Thank you for your likes. Smash the likes on your way out, you wrong'uns. See if we can get to 150. So thank you for your likes, your subscriptions, but most of all, your indulgence. My name's Adrian Allen. Whatever you do, wherever you go, please stay safe, be well. Don't forget your Battenberg, because it's always good to have emergency Battenberg on you. You never know when you'll need it. And remember, this may be the theatre of life, theatre of the mind. You can tell I'm getting tired. This is the theatre of the mind. It's not a show, it's a mission. And the mission continues tomorrow night, Wednesday, 7:30. See you then.